People of the internet, what is going on? It's been a while. I'm back. I'm back on a very special day. Today is July 11th, 2020. It is World Benzo Awareness Day. And that is a day where people who have gone through this experience are to come out and share their experience and try to help others become more educated about the dangers of benzodiazepines and try to help other people that are going through this to get through it. So I'm very happy to be here today with all of you, and if you guys want to learn more about Benzo Awareness Day, you can visit WBAD and Benzo Information Coalition, and I will link both of those down in the description. But I wanted to give an update video anyways, because it's been 3.5 years since I was able to make the jump off of benzos, and it's been about 18 months since I put out my first video, and I just wanted to let you guys know what's been going on with me, how my life has been, how my symptoms have been, how my recovery's been. And I'm happy to say that I'm I would say about 95% recovered. I've got some small residual stuff going on, but it's nothing major. I mean, if you guys watched my first video, you saw some of the hell that I was going through, and this stuff is very manageable. I've got a little jaw tension still. I still have a tendency to pull my jaw to one side and want to clench it, but it's slowly getting better. I'm slowly training myself to not have my jaw over to one side as the default position, and the jaw pain is pretty much non-existent at this point. There's a little bit of something I can feel most of the time over here, but it's very manageable and not too bad at all. Other than that, I would say the only thing I'm really dealing with at this point is a little bit of depersonalization and derealization that never really went away. But again, it's actually not even an issue for me at this point. And actually, I think if you look at the definition of depersonalization and derealization, you can only be diagnosed with it if it causes problems in your everyday life. So if you have visual disturbances, or you have issues with not feeling like you're in your body, if you can control it and not have it really affect you too much, then I guess technically you can't be classified with having it. So I mean, technically I may not even have that, because I don't feel like it really negatively impacts my life, and I actually don't mind it too much. Colors are a little bit brighter than they were, and sometimes the parallax and different motions, they still look kind of funny, but it doesn't really bother me. It's kind of almost like a special effect that I'm just left with. I mean, I know Kanye West, whatever you think of him, he described some of his bipolar, I think it was, as superpowers. It's almost like an enhancement sometimes, honestly. So I'm sure that's different for everybody, but for me, the little bit of derealization, there's not a lot of depersonalization, the little bit of derealization that I have can almost be seen as like a bonus residual effect from the trauma that I experienced. So that one is really not too bad. I'm still I would say I'm still recovering as far as some of the cognitive issues that I had. Memory is it's way better than it was anytime during withdrawal. I mean, it's leagues better, and it's better than when I was on the medication, but I don't think it's to the point where if I didn't have if I never took a benzo, it's not to that point. So I mean, you could say that I'm still dealing with things like that, you know, word recall. I mean, if you go and look at my first video, Withdrawal Journey Through Hell, just the way that I'm talking and the pauses that I have, you can tell that I'm still struggling to talk. And you know, it's been a recovery process since then. I still find myself not able to think of the right word that I'm looking for, or, you know, having multiple words with the same meaning that I can draw from. But again, it's much better than it was during withdrawal by far, and better than it was, you know, when I was on the medication and suffering the side effects of the medication. I know that I was not near 100% of who I could have been. So even though I'm still recovering in that sense, it's better than it's been in a long time. So you know, I'm probably not 100% in any of those areas, but again, it's better than it has been, and I'm able to at least fake being normal for the most part. So I mean, you can look back on that last video and compare, you know, how I'm talking now to then, and you can probably see quite a big difference of where I'm at now versus then. And I think I'm still getting better. So if I make another video, another update video, you'll probably see a difference, you know, whenever I make that video. But aside from those few things, I'm happy to say I feel like I'm basically healed at this point. So that's, I mean, it's awesome to say that and to feel it and to live it every day. But it was a, you know, it's been tough getting back. I talked about everything I experienced those first 18 months up until I made that Journey Through Hell video. So I'm not going to go over any of that stuff, any of those symptoms. If you want to know what it was like, I got video and pictures and stuff of that experience, and I try to talk about, you know, what it was like going through that in that video. So if you want to go back and watch that, I encourage you to do that. But it's been tough getting back to normal. So what I will talk about is what I've experienced from that 18 months until now. And one thing that I talk about in that video, and I made another video kind of talking about, actually I've made 2 other videos about it, but you know, the keto diet. I'm a big supporter of the keto diet. It helped me a lot. Combined with intermittent fasting, it was really a game changer for me. And I would say when I started doing the intermittent fasting and the keto, a lot of the major symptoms were going away. And you know, part of that was, I think, the keto diet helped me to be able to get a full night's rest, sleep well, and you know, that was huge in helping my recovery. It helped me, again, I got other videos talking about this, but it helped me with my energy levels and my cognition, and it helped with my stomach issues. And you know, I think if you start taking care of a couple of those things, it can have a cascading effect where you take care of one thing and it can help in these other ways. And so a lot of my major symptoms are gone by the time I make that video. So what I'm going to talk about a little bit today is what kind of symptoms I was dealing with from that time until now, where they're basically gone. And I think about that time is when I think a couple months after I made that video, I was able to start working again. I got a job doing landscaping, so it was a lot of, it was a lot of working outside, a lot of physical activity. But again, I had the energy to do that because of the diet. and my sleep had turned around. So, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. And, you know, one of the things that was hardest for me during this time was, you know, I had spent a lot of time in my house alone, scared to go out of the house, unable to go shopping, be around people. I had really isolated myself a lot during this time. I mean, there was agoraphobia, and there was just extreme anxiety and the psychosis. Just, I mean, it was hard to get out, so I was pretty isolated. So I'd say one of the hardest things about getting back to work and getting to where I'm at now was learning how to be around people and to socialize and interact and to squash some of my fears about and anxieties about, you know, different social situations and how to talk to people. I mean, I've just gone through this huge trauma, and this, you know, this is very important in my life, but it's not something you just bring up in conversation. So it was hard, you know, getting back to work and making friends and getting along with coworkers, but, you know, I've learned a lot, and I'm you know, I'm still kind of, I wouldn't say isolated, but I'm still kind of, you know, in a small world. I work 40, 50 hours a week now. I don't have a lot of extra free time, so a lot of my free time is with my family and stuff. But, you know, I can go to work and I can get along with people and I can interact and talk about certain things and, you know, seem fairly normal. And so, I mean, so, I mean, comparing where I'm at now to when I first went back to work, and it was really uncomfortable to be around people and to try to have natural conversations about, you know, seemingly mundane stuff when my mind is about focused on, you know, trying to recover and focused on this great trauma that's happened in my life, to switch from that to talking about sports or the weather or whatever, small talk, conversation stuff. It was hard to do. And slowly I've gotten better with that. And, you know, that's another thing is there's, you know, I've said it before, and it was still true after that first video I made, but the recovery is not linear. You know, it's up and down, and there's setbacks, and there's good weeks and bad weeks, and a good day and 2 bad days, and, you know, slowly the good days become more and more frequent, and there's less time in between, and there's more time in between the bad days. So slowly you get better, and it's not always you get better. Sometimes it's you get better and then you get worse and you spend a couple weeks worse, but slowly over time it is a line trending in the recovery direction. But you know, aside from, you know, the social stuff, I would say most of my symptoms were in this period. You know, there's the social anxiety, but then just a general anxiety that slowly got better. Depression. I did have a lot of trouble dealing with stress. I would get angry about small things, and, you know, I'd say I'm doing well on all of these things. I'm able to deal with stressful situations without experiencing major depression and anxiety. I'm able to not go directly towards anger. I'm able to think about the problem and to react in a measured way. And I'm happy to say at this point I was able, after 2 years, about 2 years, I don't know exactly, but it was around 2 years, to get off of the ketogenic diet. I got off, I think it's been about 2 weeks now, and I'm still doing a low carb diet. Not eating a lot of processed sugar, or any, I mean, very minimal, if any. Not really consuming bread products, noodles, but I am having more protein than a ketogenic diet would allow, and I am allowing myself more fruits. So some meals will be straight ketogenic, but not every meal is going to be. I'm fat adapted at this point, which is different than ketogenic. Ketogenic, you're basically never allowing yourself to get over that threshold of carbohydrates and proteins, which can be turned into glucose. And so you're relying 100% on fat, which is converted to ketones for your energy source. At this point, I'm having enough protein and fruits and different vegetables where I'm not 100% on ketones. But when my body doesn't have enough carbohydrates or protein, you don't go into that keto flu area where your body is searching for, am I going to tear up some muscle to create glucose when I don't have carbohydrates? My body has now been adapted to use fats where it can go straight to that without feeling ill. So I'm still doing a pretty high fat diet and getting a good amount of my energy through fats, but I'm not strict keto anymore, and I feel good. I feel really good. I was kind of wondering, would there be any rebound symptoms or anything when I got off of keto, and I'm happy to say that was not the case. I didn't have any rebound symptoms or anxieties or anything. But like I said, I'm not doing high carbs still, so I did kind of transition kind of slowly into more of a normal diet, but I'm still eating pretty healthily, and it's good. It's good to be able to broaden my diet a little bit and eat some stuff that I haven't eaten in a few years. So looking back on this whole experience, there is a few things that I would have done differently. The first is I felt like I had to do a semi-rapid taper. Just life circumstances where, I used to be an engineer. I used to make a lot more money than I make now, 2 to 3 times more than I make now. And there was conversations at that time where they basically said, if you can get off of the medications in 3 months, you have your job still. And so that's kind of what drove me to get off of all my opiates and benzos and muscle relaxers in such a short amount of time. And I think had I known better, and had I felt like I had the opportunity to do it slower, I would have done that, and I would have been better off if I was to do that. So that's one thing I would have done. I would have also done a little more research beforehand, especially on the benzo withdrawal side. I feel like I was fairly unprepared. My doctor was fairly not knowledgeable and unprepared. I didn't tell my support system around me, my friends and family, enough about what could be happening during this period, so they were unprepared. And I wish I would have done more research and more, just talking to everybody and showing them, this is a possibility of what's going to happen, and I need you to, I might need your help for some of this. I might need you to go shopping for me. I might need some financial help. I might need some moral help. I might need spiritual help. I might need emotional help. And I didn't really, it was I was alone for a lot of this, going through it. I tried to as I was going through it, tell my family, give them some information, but I was already in withdrawal and I wasn't able to explain things well or carry on a coherent conversation. And, if I would have done some of that stuff before I was in it, it probably would have gone over better. And so I lost a lot of friends. A lot of friends didn't understand, and I don't blame them, but if I would have done that upfront research and upfront conversations with them, maybe they would be more able to help me, and maybe this whole thing was a way to, you guys know, you'll find out who your true friends really are when you're in a crisis like this, and so it's inevitable. I'm sure some of them weren't going to be there no matter what, but I've got a fairly strained relationship with some family because of this, and I'm working on trying to make it right, but it's been tough, and so it would have been good for me to have been more informed beforehand and trying to at least given them more of a heads up and more information so that they could better go through this entire thing with me. Another thing that I would have done differently is I would have started intermittent fasting and keto sooner. I really feel like it helped me tremendously early on, and if I would have done it sooner, I think I would have put myself into a healing state sooner, and it wouldn't be 3.5 years after my last dose. Maybe it would have been 1.5 years. I don't really know, but I definitely, if I could go back, I would be doing fasting and keto, maybe even before I started the taper, but definitely during the taper. Another thing I wish I would have done differently is I wish I would have not trusted the medical professionals so much. And that's another thing I had to learn as I was going on. I reached out for help to my doctor that prescribed it, to psychiatrists, to pharmacists, to withdrawal specialists, and none of them were giving what I know now to be good advice about, tapering over months to years, about, researching every little supplement or medication that they wanted to give me or to try. What you really have to do is you really have to go and look at the pharmacological profile of any supplement and any medication they're trying to give you. And, a lot of them, if they act on GABA A or GABA B, or if they have secondary effects that affect GABA, you need to just stay away from them. That's really the bottom line. And so I was prescribed gabapentin, which that caused a huge setback. Not initially when I took it, but when I tried to stop taking that, I had a lot of rebound benzo symptoms. And also, a supplement I took gave me another setback. Pregilone, it's a hormone, but it also, it caused a great spike in my symptoms. Both of them seemed to help for a little bit, but then when I tried to get off of gabapentin and pregnenolone, there was a huge spike in symptoms. So I wish I would have been more aware of medications and supplements that were safe to take. And the other thing I probably would have done differently is, I was bedbound and housebound for a long time, having all this restlessness and energy, but no real outlet to get rid of it. So when I was finally getting back into being able to use my body again, and I enjoy working out and stuff, I I was so happy to be able to do that. I kind of overdid it a little bit, and I put myself into an overtrained state, and especially with my adrenal glands kind of being burnt out from all the anxiety and adrenaline and fight or flight constantly for a year plus. My body wasn't prepared to exert to that much, so I wish I would have kind of worked my way up to the type of workouts I'm doing now, because that also gave me quite a big setback where I had some extreme fatigue, and I had to again have my hormones get back into balance, the adrenaline, the cortisol surges. So working out can be great, but definitely work your way up to it. Don't jump right in. If you can, if you can lift weights or whatever 4 hours a day, if you're able to do that, to work out that long, don't push yourself until you're that tired. And I don't know if everybody's gonna have this issue, but that's one thing I wish I would have done different. But with all the setbacks and all the broken relationships and problems that I've had, there's been so many good things that have come out of this. Aside from my financial status, basically every area of my life has been improved, and I've had time to replace my destructive habits of medicating, self-medicating, prescription medications, other negative habits that I've had. I've been able to replace those with some really healthy habits and some healthy ways to deal with stress and to pass the time. And I would definitely encourage all of you to try new things. Try to learn to play an instrument. Try to do some new type of art, or some art that you used to do in the past. If you like writing, try that. For me, doing poi has been a new hobby that I've really enjoyed doing. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like fire spinning, but like the first step in fire spinning, where you don't do it with actual fire to begin with. You do it with what are called poi, which are kind of like balls inside of socks, or light sticks on string. But it's been fun to learn some of that stuff. Like I said, I enjoy working out. I've been learning some martial arts stuff. It's been really cool. And I've had martial arts in my past, but learning new types of martial arts and gymnastic type things. I taught myself a couple flips and handsprings and stuff, and like I said, I was confined to my bed and not able to use my body. It's been just awesome to be able to do flips and to really work myself out.
That was great, Daddy!
As I talked about in my first video, my faith has been extremely important in my recovery, and I'm working my way through the Bible a second time, and I've just been getting closer to God and understanding his plan for us and his story, and it's been really great to have that in my life. I've searched for spiritual things, and specifically been pressing against God, wrestling with certain concepts and stuff, but never really understanding until now. I do feel like I'm getting that understanding, and that has filled a hole that's been within me for a long time. So that's been just wonderful. Another hobby that I've been playing with that's been really cool is gardening. That was one of the first things that, it was very therapeutic to start a garden and to plant the seeds and to watch them grow up and transplant them outside and to tend for them and care for them, and then you get to see all your hard work pays off, and that can go right into using these garden herbs in your new diet that you're doing. So that whole process was really great, and that actually I've been able to transition that into a possible new direction for my future income. My state recently made research of hemp available, and so I got enrolled in that program, and this will be my second year actually growing hemp. Last summer I grew a successful crop, and I got it extracted, and I've got it processed and bottled it into CBD oil, the THC-free CBD oil. And I think CBD and a lot of people do have problems in benzo withdrawal with anxiety, and CBD has been shown to really help a lot of people with anxiety. A lot of people, the THC, it causes a spike in anxiety, but the CBD doesn't seem to. There's a group on Facebook called Blazing Benzos that I'm a part of, and I've seen a lot of people on there that say that CBD has helped them a lot. And so I set up an online shop, and if anybody wants to try it, it's legal. I'll ship anywhere in the United States. It's free shipping on my website, and so if you want to support me, I've got good prices. zionsgarden.net. I'll put a link in the description below. And if you're in a situation like I was where you're financially not doing that great, I am going to also put it in the description an email address, jackslightwithin@yahoo.com. Shoot me an email, and we'll figure out a way to get you some CBD, let you try it out. I'm not saying to anybody out there that this is just like with anything, not with keto or intermittent fasting. This isn't going to be a silver bullet. This isn't going to cure you, but I think together with a correct diet, with repairing bad habits, with improving your sleep, with managing stress, I think CBD can be a tool, and I think all these things together are going to give you the best chance possible for recovery. So if you want to support me, go to zionsgarden.net. If you're wanting to try it, shoot me an email. We'll work something out, and we'll get you some CBD. Now, on that group that I was talking about, there's been a lot of people that says that it helps. I've seen maybe one or two posts where people said that it didn't work for them, that it made things a little bit worse. So I would definitely say start off slow if you're going to try CBD. Don't expect a silver bullet, but maybe it can help manage some of your symptoms a little bit. And that's really the only thing that I would recommend as far as putting in any sort of foreign substance in your body to try to help with withdrawal. I think CBD is the only one that I would say it's okay to try. It's alright to try. It's got a very low chance of causing a flare-up, but just in case it does, start very slow and work your way up. And it's not going to be acting, it's got cannabinoid receptors that it's acting on. It's not going to go towards your benzo receptors. It really shouldn't interfere with your recovery at all. And I really feel like it can help people. So hit that up if you want to. And other than that, in general Benzo news, I've seen some good things since we talked last. There's been some media coverage of the Benzo crisis that we've been going through. There was a CNN special, CNN of all places, where Lisa Ling did a show on Benzo Withdrawal, and she did a pretty good job. She showed what it was like. They talked about akathisia. They talked about dependency versus addiction. They talked about some really good things about having to come off very slowly, how there's not the help from the medical industry, as we all know. And so, I mean, that was pretty awesome to see that it's coming out in a mainstream way like that. And I'll put a link down there. I don't know if I'll try to find an actual video of it, but if I can, I'll link that below. More recently, I don't know if you guys know who Jordan Peterson is, but he's been kind of an intellectual speaker about certain topics, and he has recently caused a buzz about benzodiazepines. And you know what happened with him is his wife had some health problems, and he was prescribed a benzo, and he came off of it very recently and had some extreme problems. He almost died. He talks about how he couldn't find help here in the United States, how everybody was giving bad advice, and how they just wanted to treat him with other drugs, and how they wanted to take him off too fast. And him and his daughter actually ended up going to Russia, and they put him on basically a medically induced coma and rapidly tapered him while he was under, so he didn't have to experience it. And you know, he's just now coming out of it, but I've seen a lot of people on YouTube dissecting his interview and talking about what he went through. And so, I mean, it really seems like, again, it's coming out in a mainstream way. And today, this July 11th, 2020, there was the first public screening that I think they've had some individual events throughout the United States, but they had a screening of a film called Medicating Normal, and it was I watched it today. It was a great film, and again, it shows the plight that we're all going through. It talks about how we got in the situation where, you know, people get sad and people get anxious and people get, you know, these tired, or they can't concentrate because of life events, and how the DSM manuals and psychiatry in general is saying there's something wrong with you if you're sad. There's something wrong with you if you have anxiety. If you're uncomfortable in any way, we have a solution for that. And it talks about how psychiatry partnered with the pharmaceutical industry, and they fake the studies, and they take over the educational systems to misinform doctors, and it's really great. And I talked about some of the stuff in that mini documentary that I did on my channel about kind of the history of the pharmaceutical industry, and the name of that is Unholy Alliance, Big Pharma, Nazis, CIA, and the Ancient Ones. It's about a year old, but it goes through a lot of the same stuff, you know. And so I have some friends, Facebook friends, that were actually in this movie that premiered today, Medicating Normal. And so, you know, I'm very excited about that coming out. And so I think there's change coming. I really do. I really think the more people that become aware of this issue, the more people that have a family member or a friend that goes through this, or that, God forbid, they take their life and they're trying to search for why, the more people that see what these drugs are doing to people, that's going to be the critical mass that we need to actually change things. And So it's really great to see that. It's really great to see people awaken to just the lies in general that we've been told about the medical system, about, you know, our politicians, what the elites are up to. You know, we're seeing a lot of this stuff come out with Epstein and Maxwell, and I feel like there's a real light being shined on the things that have been hidden in society for a long time, and it's finally all starting to come out. Things about spirituality that have been hidden, you know, the lies about the religious institutions. There's just a lot of things are coming to light, and that's what the apocalypse is. It's the unveiling. And so I've talked about before how, you know, my spiritual beliefs, my religious beliefs are so important to me, and I really do think that, you know, time is kind of short at this point, and what's been done in the darkness for a long time is coming to light. And, you know, Jack's Light Within, that name, I didn't even, you know, I picked it for a stupid reason. That used to be, well, it's not important why I picked it, but it has more meaning than I would have known, because I have found what that light is, and it's something that if I decide to make any more videos, I'm probably gonna not make too many more on benzos. That, you know, it's not really a part of my life anymore. I'm recovering from all that, and, you know, I'll look at things here and there, but I'm not gonna do probably deep studies on that. If I do make any more videos, I think it's going to be shining a light on more of the religious lies that we've been told, because just like all these other institutions that put on a face one way, I mean, the reality is it's much different than we've been told. And so that's the things that I've been really interested in and studying as of late, and I think most people are still deceived in that way. So I've got a lot of stuff that I've learned, and a lot of stuff that, you know, started with the Reformation, and there's a lot of things that still need to be reformed. So if you guys, I might make a couple, and if there's interest, I'll make more. But as far as the medication side of things, as far as the keto side of things, or benzo side of things, basically what this channel is about is trying to help people and wake people up to certain realities. And I feel like the way that I can do that now is through teaching and exposing some of these lies that we've been told in the Christian faith, basically. And so I hope y'all will tune in for some of that stuff. I think it is beneficial for anybody out there. So, you know, stay strong, you guys. If you're going through it, you know, just take it one day at a time. Treat yourself the best you can. Look at your diet. Look at ways that you can just help your general health. You know, take it minute by minute if you need to, but get through it, because life can be so good, and it will be for you someday. So don't give up. You know, keep fighting, y'all. And happy Benzodiazepine Awareness Day. Talk to you guys later.